It's the longest running stoush in the history of Australian banking, and it's coming to a head as the chief of Australia's biggest bank, Matt Comyn, the chief executive of Commonwealth Bank of Australia, looks destined for a date in the witness box in court. Now, I can't recall the last time a CEO was compelled to appear in open court. Certainly never one of the profile and grand stature of Matty Comyn. Will the board of the bank let him be cross-examined? Now, let's wind it back a bit. Last November, the corporate regulator ASIC lost a case against the man behind the unhappy banking franchise, bank activist Jeff Shannon. Now, they didn't just lose it, it was a catastrophe. The judge was scathing. Now Shannon is bringing cases against both the regulator ASIC and the CBA to clear his name. The rub for Matt Comyn of CBA is that the judgment mentions him in not very flattering terms. In the case against Jeff Shannon, ASIC's star witness was a woman called Natasha Keys. Natasha Keys had worked with Jeff Shannon, but then was enticed to turn against him in evidence for ASIC's case. She was found by the judge to be a, quote, completely unreliable witness. But here's the catch. Matt Comyn, the chief of the CBA, had actually met with Keys in 2018, 4 years before the case, and agreed to cancel her mortgage with the bank and pay her $300,000. Now, in what universe does the chief executive of a bank dabble about with mortgages of such small customers? We can only surmise this is only in the universe of the big end of town, stitching up bank victims, advocates with regulators. Speculation, of course. The evidence from the case puts Shannon in a pretty robust position to file his claim, and it's coming in a few weeks. But the story stretches a long way back in time. This guy, Shannon, has been a thorn in the bank's side for 16 years. His ordeal with the CBA began in 2008. He was a former motorcycle racer and superbike mechanic. He was Troy Bayliss's mechanic, in fact. Shannon was one of the property developers with loans with Bankwest that hit the wall when CBA took out Bankwest during the GFC in 2008 and rubbed out all their property, all their commercial loan book, their property development customers. They got angry, and Shannon set off on his odyssey to take on the banks. He set up Unhappy Banking, and the CBA went after him personally and put him into bankruptcy in 2013. So he's been a public nuisance for the CBA and the other big banks for many years, getting commercial outcomes for clients if he could find issues with the lending practices or in the loan documentation. So CBA got him into bankruptcy in 2013, they dragged him through the courts, but he refused to say die, and he kept working for Unhappy Banking until ASIC came after him and dragged him into court on charges of being a director while bankrupt. The case utterly fell apart. Shannon even won costs a few weeks ago, but when he and his lawyers turned up to face court early last year, they found there were 16,000 emails in the Crown's cache of evidence against him. They weren't told about this until they got to the court on the day. Then the emails had in fact been provided to ASIC by their star witness, Natasha Keys, the friend of Matt Comyn. There was some very juicy stuff in there. One of the emails we dubbed the Hi Babe email, revealing that Keys had been having an affair with an executive of NAB at the same time that she'd been having an affair with none other than Jeff Shannon. Shannon is now working up his lawsuit for malprosecution against ASIC because they didn't even bother to check in when they went after him with his trustee in bankruptcy to see if she had given him permission to work for Unhappy Banking, which she did. But the star turn will be the suit against the CBA. Sol Holt KC examined Natasha Keys, as to whom at the CBA she had spoken with regarding her loan dispute with the bank, to which she replied, under oath, that she had, quote, met with Matt Comyn and his couple of offsiders in June 2018. The defence immediately sought and received confirmation from the witness that she was referring to Matt Comyn, the CEO of the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, and yes, that she had met with him in person to discuss her dispute. Keys went on to say that Comyn had telephoned her to make her the offer, which Holt again sought to confirm. Matt Comyn, the CEO of the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, personally rings you? Asked Holt, with an offer of a few $100,000. Is that right? Yes, replied Natasha Keys under oath. So it's going to be difficult to see how the CBA are going to squirm out of this one. And the question, of course, will be, and this will be pursued by the barristers for Shannon, did CBA collude with ASIC to take the pesky Shannon down? Well, we don't know this, but it will certainly be a line of inquiry if Comyn takes the stand. And there are some high-profile finance journalists in the media known to CBA who went after Shannon as well. They're in the mix, they're in the evidence. It is a massive stitch-up, and it will be wonderful to behold it unfold. But of course, if you were the board of the CBA, are you really going to allow your chief executive to be cross-examined in open court? Probably not.